create any bad memory for them. You're not forming memories at 3 years old, and it's very rare that you're forming memories at 5 years old.
If you don't like somebody on the internet, maybe because they have a different worldview than you, maybe in like the political scene, or you just don't like their content at all, I think that's fine. You know, just be like, oh, I don't like your content, and then just scroll away and move on to something else. But to hate somebody so badly on the internet to the point where you're making Reddits basically hate watching and then calling CPS, I think it's just disgusting. You can dislike Ethan Klein. That's fine. A lot of people don't like him anyways. But to hate somebody on the internet so much to where you call child protective services, it's just disgusting behavior. That could have literally gone to somebody where the child is actually getting abused. Before I show you the full clip of Ethan talking about it, I want to make sure that people know that he's sniffing a lot. It's just his take, by the way. I've seen a lot of people be like, why is Ethan like constantly sniffing every like 0.2 seconds? It's because he has a tick.
Turned into this whole snark narrative that our house is a mess, that there's dog shit everywhere, that Sonny is eating shit and getting giardia, and that, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And, well, it culminated in somebody finally, an anonymous call went into them on the 3rd, saying that they were somebody that works at the house, and they wanted to report us because our kids are crawling around eating dog shit and getting viruses. And they were able to provide enough details because of what I said on the show to make it appear that it was somebody. He said, like, when he first showed up, he's like, it's somebody that you know who made the report. And I'm like, no, okay. So, I mean, they used, I mean, yeah, you could easily impersonate.
Oh, sorry.
You're good. Go ahead.
What's truly like despicable to me is the fact that like you hear so often that CPS, like that they're not always.
They're underfunded.
Yes, and also it always like seeps through the cracks for some reason.
Yeah.
And so the fact that they were so on it here, it's like that could have gone to a family that really needed it and a child that really needed.
Like I said, you can hate Ethan Klein as much as you want. Just never mess with somebody's kids, bro. Now, I know you're asking, why is Denims in the thumbnail? The female Hasan, as I like to call her. On some Black Ops 2 shit, I finally understood the numbers here, Mason. There is a theory going around right now that Denims might have been the one to actually call CPS on them or got somebody else to do it. Now, you're probably wondering, Horuko, bro, this is a crazy fucking theory. You sound like Matt Patton is prime on a FNAF video. What do you want about? Do you got like evidence, clips? Actually, I do have some clips and some evidence here, alright? I'm bringing this to the court like I'm playing an Ace Attorney game here. The first clip I want to show you is that they actually found out that Denims actually deleted her March 1st VOD off of her Twitch channel. Because in that VOD, there's a bunch of people in chat suggesting to call CPS on Ethan and his wife. Here's an image proving that the March 1st VOD was unlisted off of her channel.
Shit in their house. And then Denims hosts this and see what she says. And then now we wonder why people are calling Child Protective Services.
But they called it before I even did this stream.
He lets his dogs shit all over his mansion, and he just leaves the shit on the floor, something that is probably related to the fact that his former housekeeper is suing him for a number of different reasons. So I would assume he doesn't actually have a housekeeper anymore, or perhaps he lost his extra housekeeper. So now the house is just like covered in dog shit. And he has kids, and his kids like crawl into the dog shit, and God forbid, I don't know what they do with it. I don't know if they eat it, or if it's just from like contact with it with their hands or something, but they contracted a parasite that I had previously never heard of in my life called Giardia from the dog shit that is all over his house.
Dude, how is it that like maybe once a week I look into what Ethan Klein's been up to, and every time I manage to find more and more terrible shit. This is where Ethan tells a story about his family getting Giardia.
We already have mold Mondays. Now we have shit Saturdays.
Also, this is not a joking matter, by the way. It can be very severe and deadly to small children. I mean, much like many other illnesses, it's very, very, very dangerous when infants get the same sicknesses that adults get. There are lots of things that you can get as an adult. You're totally fine. You'll be A-okay. No problem. a child, a small infant that has no immune system, shouldn't be catching anything.
No wonder his house is covered in dog shit, and his neglected children raised by nannies have contracted parasites previously unknown to science from the feces. I wonder why he skipped over all of this, because everything that I said in this story, which by the way was apparently compiled by his...
And what is kind of crazy, Your Honor, is that earlier today, she was denying that her and her chat ever mentioned CPS at all.
Those people should have CPS called on them 1000%. These people, like, I think that there is some level of negligence happening here, and I think it's irresponsible. I don't think CPS should be called on them. I've never said that they should be called on them, and I've never approved of it, ever.
The next clip I would like to show you into the court here is that this bitch is stupid, and I'm serious. You know what? I couldn't stop laughing at this when I saw this clip. According to Denims, you cannot remember anything that happens to you when you're like 3 years old.
Really don't want you to create any bad memory here for them. Like, they are 5 and 3. They don't understand this shit. So I told him,
Create any bad memory for them. You're not forming memories at 3 years old, and it's very rare that you're forming memories at 5 years old. Nah, yes, you are. No, you're not. When we're talking about being able to remember, being able to recall memories, it's like 4 is the cutoff. But even if you are forming any memories at 4, you're not going to be able to remember them past like 15. You have maybe 1 or 2 memories. Talking to a random stranger once isn't really memorable for a kid. There's a wide variation about the mean across methods, cohorts. The average age of adults' earliest memories is 3.5 years old. You're not really forming memories at 3.
She stands on this, and then when she gets fact-checked live and her chat is literally correcting her, she still stands on that shit, dude. Yo, I swear she's just stupid. I remember when I was 3 years old, I had the entire Pittston Cubs stadium from like the Cars movie and shit. I had Lightning McQueen, the King Strip Weathers, Chick Hicks, and all the other cars and shit, and just made McQueen win every single time. And then when I was like 5, I think I had a Nintendo DSi and had a bunch of games on there. Mario Kart on the DS stays undefeated, argue with your mama. And there's a picture of me with the TV watching Blade, and then another picture of me watching Dragon Ball Z Kai on Nicktoons and shit. Alright, that's young me, man. Yo, bring me back to those days. I need to find my Nintendo DS, bro, so I can just have that shit on the go and just play all the old school games that I got on there. There's this old thing that like foreign countries used to do, by the way. I'm gonna go a little off topic here, where you can get cartridges of like things you can put on like on the DS and shit, and it'll just have a bunch of games on it, bro. That was such a gold mine when I found out about that shit, and I got one for Christmas. Dude, it had like Sonic Colors, Sonic Rush. Even though I do own a Nintendo DS like Sonic Colors cartridge, if I can find it, I'll show you like on the screen here. So just to prove that I am like that, and you know, I am an old school gamer. All right, these youngins don't know about the Nintendo DS days. But anyways, back to Denims. She's actually just this stupid. I feel like it just has to be an act at this point. Like, the fact that you cannot admit when you're wrong, when you literally get fact-checked and your chat is literally correcting you, and you're just still on about the, yeah, you can't remember stuff when you're like 3 to like 15. I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you saying? What have we learned today, people? If you hate somebody on the internet so much, just leave it at that, or literally say it to Ethan's face. Don't bring his children into this just because you absolutely despise him. Like I said, you can hate Ethan Klein all you want, but to go to this extent is disgusting behavior. Anyways, that is all I have for you today. If you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. We're on the road to 1K and we're like less than 80 subs to that goal. So if every single person watching this video subscribes, we hit that goal. And like the video too, that way it gets pushed out more to the algorithm and people know what's going on here. And yeah, that's really about it. See ya.